If your income rose beyond a certain level, but your happiness stopped increasing, would chasing promotions or changing jobs still feel worthwhile?
Maybe not. I might assume that once I could comfortably cover my living costs, earning more would make little difference.
But another study reached the opposite conclusion. Even at higher income levels, people's day-to-day feelings continued to improve as income increased.
Then which conclusion should we trust? Whether there is an income ceiling for happiness could affect major choices about work and lifestyle.
That is what made the conflict so difficult. Both conclusions came from large data sets analyzed by highly respected researchers.
How could studies examining the same relationship between money and happiness produce such different answers?
Think about decisions people make every day. Should you work longer hours to raise your income or protect your free time? Should you pay higher rent to live near work or save money by accepting a longer commute?
We are constantly estimating how much additional income will improve our lives, even when we do not realize it.
And if that estimate is wrong, important life decisions can also go wrong. Suppose you believe money is the main cause of your distress, so you keep working harder. But if the real problems are lack of sleep or loneliness, a higher income may not bring the relief you expected.
The opposite could also happen. Someone might assume money can't help, even though a higher income could reduce a serious financial burden.
However, this paper does not prove that money alone guarantees happiness. It re-examines the relationship between income and emotional well-being, how people actually feel during daily life.
Naruhodo. So this is about an observed relationship, not proof that income directly causes happiness.
Today, we are looking at income and emotional well-being, a conflict resolved. It asks how two apparently contradictory conclusions about income and happiness can both emerge from the evidence.
I especially want to know whether the famous claim that happiness stops rising above a certain income really applies to everyone.
The conflict began partly because the studies measured emotional well-being differently. A 2010 study asked people whether they had experienced feelings such as happiness, enjoyment, worry, or sadness during the previous day.
So participants gave a broad judgment about whether yesterday had been emotionally good or bad.
Exactly. Many of the responses were recorded in a yes or no format. That study found that emotional well-being increased with the logarithm of income, but appeared to level off above an annual income of about $75,000.
What does the logarithm of income mean here?
It means that proportional changes matter more than identical dollar increases. For example, moving from $30,000 to $60,000 is treated as similar to moving from $60,000 to $120,000 because income doubles in both cases.
So an extra $10,000 may matter differently to someone with a low income than to someone who already earns much more.
Right. Then a 2021 study used smartphones to ask people repeatedly how they felt at that exact moment. It found that average emotional well-being continued to rise with income, even above $75,000.
Looking back on an entire day and reporting your feelings in real time could reveal different patterns.
There was also another measurement issue. A yes or no answer cannot distinguish between feeling slightly good and feeling extremely good.
So once most people are already answering yes, further emotional improvement becomes difficult to record.
Exactly. It is similar to measuring weight using only light or heavy. Small but real changes disappear. In the paper, the important question was whether the response scale could detect improvement among people who were already feeling relatively well.
Does that mean the earlier study was simply wrong?
Not necessarily. Its leveling off pattern was statistically stable. The researchers therefore considered another possibility. Perhaps the average was hiding important differences between people.
Instead of forcing everyone onto a single line, they needed to examine whether the pattern differed for people with low, medium, and high emotional well-being.
That was the key idea. The disagreement might not be solved by choosing one study and rejecting the other. Both could be capturing different parts of the same distribution. For the new analysis, the researchers used 1,725,994 experience reports collected from 33,391 employed adults in the United States.
That is far more detailed than asking each person a single survey question.
Participants received prompts on their smartphones over several weeks, usually about 3 times per day. Each time, they reported how they had felt immediately before the prompt.
What exactly were they asked?
The central question was, how do you feel right now? Participants answered on a continuous scale ranging from very bad to very good.
That allows the data to preserve differences between feeling slightly good, clearly good, and extremely good.
Yes, this approach is called experience sampling. Instead of asking people to summarize their lives from memory, it repeatedly measures emotion while they are actually living their everyday lives.
That matters because the same person may feel stressed immediately after a difficult meeting and much calmer later at home.
Exactly. Repeated measurements make the result less dependent on one unusually good or bad moment. They give a clearer picture of where a person's emotional experience usually falls.
Did the researchers then calculate an average for every income group?
They did more than that. They examined different points in the emotional well-being distribution, the 15th, 30th, 50th, 70th, and 85th percentiles.
Could you explain what a percentile means?
Imagine arranging people from lower to higher emotional well-being. The 50th percentile is around the middle. The 15th percentile represents people toward the lower end, while the 85th percentile represents people toward the higher end.
So the researchers could separately examine people who were generally struggling, people near the middle, and people who were already feeling relatively good.
Correct. Looking only at the average is like combining temperatures from very different regions into one national number. The average may be accurate, but it can hide opposite changes occurring in colder and warmer places.
And in this paper, those hidden differences were changes among people at different levels of emotional well-being.
The researchers also compared the relationship below and above an annual income of $100,000.
Why did they use $100,000 rather than the famous $75,000 threshold?
The earlier $75,000 figure came from the midpoint of an income category ranging from $60,000 to $90,000. The newer analysis also involved data collected in a later period, so the researchers used $100,000 as the comparison point.
Narhodo! The method was designed not only to measure feelings more precisely, but also to uncover different patterns hidden inside the average.
The results showed that both claims, there is a plateau and there is no plateau, contained part of the truth.
How can both conclusions be correct?
Among people at the lower end of emotional well-being, higher income was associated with less unhappiness, up to about $100,000 per year. Beyond that level, however, the improvement largely stopped.
So the plateau found in the earlier study was real, but it was concentrated among people with relatively low emotional well-being.
Exactly. At the 15th percentile, the relationship above $100,000 was close to zero and was not statistically significant.
What does statistically significant mean in this context?
It means that the observed pattern is difficult to explain as random variation alone. Here, the researchers could not confidently conclude that additional income above $100,000 was associated with further emotional improvement for that lower group.
Income appeared to help below that point, but the additional association became extremely small afterward.
Yes, the paper suggests that roughly 15% to 20% of people frequently experience negative emotions, and that the relationship between income and well-being may differ for this group compared with the happier majority.
What happened among people in the middle of the distribution?
At the 30th and 50th percentiles, emotional well-being continued to increase with income. That pattern matched the average result reported in the 2021 study.
So the idea that everyone stops becoming happier above $75,000 was not supported.
Correct. And among people at the 70th and 85th percentiles, the relationship became even stronger above $100,000. The clearest acceleration appeared among those at the highest level of emotional well-being.
For people who were already doing well emotionally, higher income was associated with even larger gains, rather than a plateau.
That is the surprising finding. The single average line was combining two different movements: a plateau among the least happy group and continued growth, or even acceleration, among happier groups.
Once those groups were mixed together, the average could no longer show what was happening to each of them.
Exactly. The same income level can relate differently to emotional life, depending on the difficulties a person is facing.
Does the paper explain why higher income might stop helping some people?
It offers possible examples. Experiences such as heartbreak, bereavement, or clinical depression may create suffering that additional income alone cannot easily relieve.
So, money can reduce many pressures, but it is not a universal treatment for every form of suffering.
The value of this research is that it replaces the simple question, can money buy happiness, with a more accurate one. For whom and under what emotional conditions is higher income associated with greater well-being?
Then, should people keep trying to increase their income, or should they focus on other parts of life?
The paper shows that the relationship is not identical for everyone. It does not prove that changing jobs will make a person happier, or that giving up income will improve well-being.
And because the participants were employed adults in the United States, we should not directly apply the same dollar threshold to every country or lifestyle.
Exactly. This is not a study telling people to convert $100,000 into another currency and treat it as a personal happiness ceiling.
The important point is the shape of the relationship, not the exact number by itself.
Right. If financial pressure affects housing, transportation, medical expenses, food choices, or control over your time, more income may remove burdens that regularly damage emotional well-being.
But if the central problem is grief, loneliness, poor health, or another difficulty that money does not directly solve, chasing a higher number may not produce the expected relief.
That is why it helps to ask what is actually causing your distress. I need more money may sometimes be accurate, but sometimes it may be a convenient label placed over a different problem.
Before setting an income target, we should separate problems that money can realistically reduce from problems that need a different kind of support.
There is also a trade-off to consider. If earning more requires sacrificing sleep, relationships, or personal control, then the decision changes both income and the conditions that shape well-being.
So, the paper does not recommend maximizing income while ignoring everything else.
No, it also teaches us how to read research claims more carefully. When a headline says, happiness keeps rising or stops rising, ask whose happiness was measured, where they were in the distribution, and how their feelings were recorded.
Naruhodo. An average can be correct while still hiding groups that are moving in completely different directions.
Today's lesson is this. Before deciding that a higher income will solve your unhappiness, identify the burden you actually want to reduce. Then ask whether money directly addresses that burden, or whether a different form of support is needed.